afterwards, then, and after ing. And I'll put these cards on the table. And I'll ask them, what did you do today? And you know what they tell me?
I played soccer.
No. Actually, I never get that answer. They tell me, I got up at 6:30. After that, I brushed my teeth. Then I ate breakfast. Afterwards, I went to school. Then I played with my friends. They'll give me a whole chain of stuff. All right? It's not difficult. They just give it to me. I do this all the time. Now, the whole point of what it is that I'm trying to do, and Dan, can we go ahead and hand those out? Yep. Okay? Is I want them to start being more creative. And I will do things like, you have other grammar structures like must and should. And why is will, must, and should the patterns that should all be taught kind of in conjunction? It's related in what respect? Yes, plus the structures are all the same. All right? There's no difference in this. So now these kids are able to put together these sentences. Later on, I'll introduce want to, have to, and so on. Then, I've introduced what you've got there are called alpha plus cards. The alpha plus cards is something that I add to the students. And again, I nurture this first. And I'll do a structure like, do you have a brother? No, I don't. Okay. But in alpha plus cards, you've got to add something else to that statement. You've got to say something more. And when you add something like that, they don't know what they're doing. They're having to really be creative for the first time. So what that means is they'll say something, maybe I'll help them along. No, I don't. I want a brother. That's a great answer with that, with an alpha plus. Now what I have my kids do is they tell me what did they do today or last night, or if there was Silver Week, I give them these cards, and then I ask, how many plus alpha cards? And they'll say 5. And now they're putting this whole chain of dialogue together with extra information. You know what this extra information is based on? Stuff they learned in Let's Go and connect those simple patterns. Now, as a plus alpha piece, it fits together. I have a 14-year-old kid, his name's Yosuke, and I think, Chris, you know him. Yeah. This guy took a trip to Nagano. He then, using these cards, and 5 plus alpha cards, proceeded to tell me everything about his trip in Nagano. And I just sat there, and I was amazed. And I'm just looking at him and going, Yosuke, that was really great. Really great. And you know what his reaction was? Well, it's a junior high school kid, right? That's the most you're going to get from a junior high school kid. But anyway, the point of this is it's about just trying to build on that. It's getting kids to start being creative with the language, with their language skills. It's not just about, here's part A, now give me B, all right? And this is already something that's fixed. I don't want a fixed answer. I want something creative. The other things that we'll do with the question structures is that I will put the question cards down on the table and we'll target one kid, and all the other kids have to ask that one kid at least 3 questions based on these structures, including did you and stuff. And it's amazing what they'll do. They'll ask a lot of good questions. Anyways, I think I'm almost done, right? Okay, any questions?
Jack, how do you balance this if you have a class where one junior high or maybe two junior high kids went through the Let's Go and then their friend joined after? So like two of them fully understand like past tense, like they went up through Let's Go 4, right? Like you can say, what did you do? When did you do it? How did you do it? And they understand, but the other one is in the dark. Like how do you balance that without upsetting?
Okay, yeah. Sometimes you got to be aware of the dynamics. Make certain that you have this paper in front of him. Make certain that you have the question cards laid out for him, because it's easy for him to start connecting with this. One of the great things about dealing with junior high school kids is that all the grammar support is being given at their schools. I'm taking over the classes at, Yachio Chuo, and I'm introducing this present continuous tense to first-year junior high school kids. I can almost literally see the light bulb turning on, because they're practicing the patterns that they're being taught at school. It's amazing. We're not introducing anything new to them. This is stuff that their grammar teachers have already introduced but glossed over. Our job, as I see it, is to get them to where they're starting to use it. We are demystifying the language. When you can actually speak and use the language, you know what that does? It accelerates you to want to learn more. So now when I hear kids, I go, what's your favorite subject? My favorite subject is English. Or I scored 98 on my English test. It's not just because of what I'm doing, but that because they understood these initial steps, they can now succeed at higher levels. It's kind of like math. If you don't know the simple basic foundation of math, and they start pushing you up into geometry or algebra or something, you're lost, right? If you don't know these fundamental steps. So getting these kids to do the fundamental steps is really important. And I think we have one more handout. Or everybody has the Alpha Plus method? Yep. Anyways, I don't know if I did well enough a job to explain this, but just again, personal verbs, future tense, future and past inquiry, all right? Introduce conjunctions, question cards, verb drills, and then Alpha Plus. Those are the steps. Those are the 11 steps. But there is a 12th step. And that 12th step is what you can introduce. You'd be amazed at the stuff that you can introduce. My next thing are disaster cards. So I'm teaching tornado and tidal wave and forest fire and volcano. And I'm using if. If there is a tidal wave, what will you do? And the kid says, if there is a tidal wave, I will go surfing. And you go, hey, great answer, you know, it's fun, it's creative. Anyways, any other questions? Yeah.
With the age groups, maybe in this or one of let's go to, when you're trying to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve, negotiate how much time should you set aside for doing this?
What's interesting is that I'm able to do a vast amount of review because I'm using grammar structures that are already introduced in Let's Go 1, but I'm varying the vocabulary continuously. So, for example, it's like, do you like, I'll go ahead and go with animal cards, you know, the pluralized animal cards, pluralized other cards, the food cards, and I vary that vocabulary constantly. So they're learning the vocabulary and they're practicing the grammar structures. Oh, that's it, I'm done. Okay, well, thank you very much. Please read through